Hello and welcome to an update of the Hungry Bin. So if you recall, last week we did a harvest. That was harvest number 4. And then what I did was I just put all the compost back to the top of the bin because you could plainly see that it was still not castings. And that's what I'm interested in, is to see how long it's going to take us to get to the castings. So these guys didn't receive any food last week, but they did get some bedding. And once I feed this bin up, they'll make their way to the top again. But right now it's just solid compost, that went back into the bin. I wasn't thrilled at all with the consistency of it, but of course I'm not surprised. And you can see also that the bin is literally, I have maybe 2 inches from the top, so it's very, very full. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some space here in the center, and I'm going to feed these guys up, but first I'm going to lay down some dry bedding. This bin is plenty moist. I do not need to give it any wet bedding. But you can see this is where they are at the bottom there, where the material was, the food and the bedding from previous weeks. So let's do this. Let me lay down the bedding and feed them up. So here is the bedding, and I did put some pulverized eggshell. You can see it right here. And now we have our kitchen waste on top. You've got all kinds of things here. And as you've noticed, I do put in my material fairly intact. When we peel apples, yes, you get slices of apple skin and things like that. But in general, we have whole banana skins. So I don't really chop up my food. I used to do that before. And I figure out that, you don't have to. Of course you can. You can do whatever you want. Whatever you have time for, whatever you have the equipment for, but you don't have to. So I make sure that the food is rotting. That's what I definitely do. If I don't put in fresh food we eat. But when it starts to go bad, that's when we put it in plastic containers. I keep it either in the freezer, in the refrigerator, or on my kitchen counter. And then once it starts looking all yicky, nasty, then the worms get it. And they really love it, I can tell you that. I'm thinking of doing a little, it's not really an experiment. It's just to show people what happens when you put in, let's say, a banana skin that has gone bad, but is still on the fresh side, versus a banana skin that is really, really rotten, and see which the worms go for. So I think I'm going to do that in my next update, not with the Hungry Bin, but with another system that I have. So this is it. It's our update. Nothing too exciting, but just seeing that the worms are doing their thing. And thanks for joining me. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.